It's another Saturn blaster.
We have for you today Salamander Deluxe Pack Plus for the Sega Saturn, and I will be looking at Salamander 2, which was done in about 97, ported over from the arcade, and as many of you will know, I'm not that much of a fan of Konami shooters. Gary needed to be dragged along under threat of a haircut to review this one because he's not much of a fan either. But together we shall explore the depths and crevices of this game to find out what it is that people like about it and what it is that we don't like about it. Or maybe what's wrong with both of us that we don't like it. Anyway, some options first of all. I've got it set to easiest, but don't let that fool you because I am playing it on normal difficulty. Oh my goodness, what's this?
It's more garish than Aunt Fanny's bedroom wallpaper.
After that somewhat psychedelic start, things get even more garish and move on to this sort of organic stomach level with a lot of stuff flying around and those irritating sort of fangs that protrude into the screen trying to chomp you up. And then there's this quite interesting encounter with the first boss, a bit of a set piece there. And this is the second level where things move into vertical mode. I find my feet here. However, there is rather a lot of crap flying around the screen.
As many of you will know, I have a penchant for playing games erect, and this one is no exception. It works much better when you're standing up.
It does look quite tasty, this first vertically scrolling level, but there is a little bit too much stuff flying around for my liking, and it just crowds the screen out and makes shooting and dodging bullets that much more difficult. The next level goes back to horizontal mode, and we're greeted with another fine palette of psychedelic colours and an awful lot of stuff flying around the screen and an awful lot of ways to die. Having said that, it's quite good fun, and the game has sort of found its feet by this point, I think.
It's the inevitable mothership level, in the vein of R-Type, but how does it stand up next to that masterpiece?
It's undoubtedly impressive, this level. It's quite gorgeous, the mothership, and there are a fair few hurdles to get through, but I keep getting this thing where stuff comes up to me and kills me for no good reason. You can't see stuff coming, which does annoy me. The backgrounds are beautiful, but I find there isn't an awful lot of interesting stuff to shoot in the foreground, moving parts, etc.
If any more aliens come on the screen and then fuck off again without giving me their power up, I'm going to rip up the spine card.
The inevitable asteroid belt level, and this one does a good job of it. It looks gorgeous, again. Animation not bad. I think I have played better asteroid belts, but this is one of the best ones. And some good weapons here. Dual laser, probably my favourite weapon in both horizontal and vertical mode. But again, the screen's filling up.
This is probably my favourite level in the game, but what on earth is that stupid tunnel doing in the middle of the asteroid? Yeah.
Now on a level like this, I would really like to get engrossed in the scenery that's got to be shot down and really find a way through the level, a bit like some of the image fight levels, but instead there is so much stuff flying around that you just keep dying, and it's not very satisfying. The end boss is an interesting one. You've got to shoot down those little barriers. It's the inevitable Konami Gradius boss, which involves sort of multiple layers that you have to destroy. It does get a bit boring, this one, because there are so many of them, so I just used the power beam, which is quite useful when you've picked up some of the options. By the way, I'm not really going to go into the weapon system on this, because I'm just assuming most of you will know much more than I do about the Gradius games. I don't like the weapons.
Now this level looks gorgeous, but how the hell are you supposed to go on dodging all of those lasers?
What I do like about this version is you don't have to select the options. They're just selected when you pick the options up, so it's a lot more intuitive than the Gradius games, where you have to keep your eye on the corner of the screen, making sure you don't pick up a shit weapon. Having said that, I still don't think the weapons are that great. They're good when they're powered up, But dying is such an insane problem in this game that you very rarely survive long enough to get to full power. Okay, we're at the end of loop boss here. There are 2 loops, there may be more. The second loop has limited continues and is extremely difficult, but this is the first loop. And it is a good boss encounter, there's no doubt about that. There's a lot of interesting stuff flying around, some good bullet patterns. But when you've done it, you think, flippin' heck, is that it? The game's quite short, 5 levels or something. So, doesn't really satisfy as a sort of huge epic shooter should. So there's a nice end sequence. I do enjoy these arcadey end sequences. Anyway, we're working our way up to some scores.
Now, as many of you will know, I'm not a fan of Kainame shoot-em-ups. In fact, I can't stand them, and I had to be dragged along here today to do this review. However, on balance, it is not a bad game. It stands out as being graphically superior to many other shoot-em-ups, but playability falls down with a 5. Overall, 7. It's average as fuck.
Just to finish with, I'm going to show you some images from the game while I briefly explain why I don't really rate this series or Gradius. From screenshots you think, bloody hell, this game looks amazing. And it does. It looks great. But it doesn't play well. I don't like the ship. I don't really like the way it moves. I don't like the collision detection very much. I don't like the way that you have to speed up. You have to collect icons because the speed of your ship is rubbish to start with. I don't like the fact the screen gets crowded out with loads of stuff. I know I'm sounding like a moaning old bastard here. There are lots of things to like in terms of the way it looks, but in terms of the way it plays, I just think it's rubbish. Okay, one last go to try and explain it a little more eloquently. So how does it play? Well, the ship moves around, okay, you can dodge bullets, you can fire back, you can do all the things you can do in a great shoot-'em-up. But what doesn't make it great in my view is that you're never given a moment's respite to really just enjoy the game. There's always something trying to trick you at the next hurdle. There's always something coming up from behind or from above, or there's not enough weapons to go around, or some ships come on the screen carrying weapons and then they just bugger off again because it's impossible to actually shoot them because you're so busy shooting other stuff. Basically, it's a mean game, and I don't like it. Okay, that'll do for me. Thanks for watching.